to another episode of Pooches at Play. There is plenty of training and behaviour advice ahead, grooming tips, health tips as well, and so much more. So sit back and enjoy it. Come on, boys. Providing our dogs and cats with plenty of enrichment is really important to keep their brains and their bodies moving, and it's also really important to help reduce stress and anxiety. Keisha, what does it look like and why is it so important for cats?
Well, cats like Rosie here are actually not too different to their wild cat ancestors, which means they've retained a lot of their behaviour and instinctive drives that their wild cat counterparts would have. And that means that they can be prone to sort of stress and anxiety when they're confined into a home environment, especially if we don't meet those needs.
And what about their urge to hunt? A lot of people think, well, you know, they get fed well, so they're not going to want to do that.
Well, it's a common misconception because even a well-fed cat can still have a really strong predator drive, and they're both predator and prey in the wild.
It's also really important that they catch their prey, isn't it? Because a lot of people use lasers and stuff, but this isn't any good, is it?
Yeah, so cats really like to be able to fulfill the entire sequence of hunting,
yes,
which means that they need to be able to watch their prey, they need to be able to stalk it and then pounce on it, and they need to be able to catch it. And if we're using things like laser pointers, then they can become frustrated enough to then redirect that frustration to us.
A big one, of course, like it is for our dogs, is that we should be making them work for their food.
Yeah, well, in the wild, cats obviously need to spend a lot of their waking time procuring food. So we need to be able to fill that as well. And one way you can do that is by providing structured play. Again, using those toys that they can actually hunt and pounce on and catch and play with.
And a great thing, which is what I say a lot for dogs, like ditch feeding them in a bowl. It's a wasted opportunity. So things like snuffle mats are really good and puzzles. And I suppose this is just as important for cats, isn't it?
It's really important for cats.
And then, of course, if cats and dogs don't get their enrichment, we see a lot of behavioural issues, don't we?
Well, cats are just a bit prone to stress and hypervigilance anyway because they are both a predator and a prey species. So their prey drive will make them more sort of prone to being stressed if there are things that aren't fulfilling those needs, or if they sense that there's any danger. So in a household environment, we want to make sure that we give them the opportunity to escape any perceived dangers. They have a really finely attuned fight or flight response, and usually their instinct is to do the flight. So their instinct is to run away. That means giving them sort of spaces particularly high up to escape. That's because when they perceive danger, they tend to try and escape up high. And similarly, the other thing that they really like is to have the ability to hide away in a sanctuary. So something like a hiding box or a cat igloo. And lots of studies have shown that cats in both a home environment but also in shelters or vet clinics will actually be less stressed if they have the ability to hide away in a box.
Okay, so we need to give them plenty of enrichment, ditch the bowl, and of course if they're an indoor cat, they still need parasite protection because of that prey drive.
They do. They do a lot of hunting, and there are parasites that aren't through hunting as well. There are parasites that they can be exposed through mosquitoes or flies and things like that. So we just have to make sure they're up to date with parasite control even when they're indoors only.
Lovely. Thanks, Keish. Look for NextGuard Spectra for dogs and cats at your local pet specialty store, including Petstock or online. Antibiotics or steroids are often prescribed by vets to treat many health conditions, but they do sometimes come with consequences. Mel, what are some of the common impacts that they might have?
Well, I mean, firstly, like any medication, antibiotics and steroids come with side effects, and we know they exist, but we are very mindful of using them judiciously so that those side effects are minimised. Sometimes those medications can be life-saving and they're very, very useful, but we do need to keep in mind that they can have an effect on the immune system and the gastrointestinal system. Some of the more common symptoms that we'll see are diarrhoea and vomiting and even going off food.
What about long-term use of them though?
Well, we do really try to avoid long-term frequent use of steroids in particular and antibiotics because they really can suppress the immune system and compromise the way that the whole body works through affecting gut health. We know that to have a good, strong immune system and good overall health, including mental health, you need a good working gut so that you can absorb nutrients properly and control inflammation as well.
So what do you tend to recommend that people do?
Well, whenever I prescribe any of those type of medications that are going to have those impacts on the gut or the immune system, I like to support those areas with a pre or probiotic.
So what is, in your opinion, is the best way to do this?
Well, by incorporating a quality vet-grade gut health supplement like EAC's Inside Out treatment support into your routine, you can proactively support their gut and immune health to manage inflammation, especially during times of stress and illness.
Yeah.
And that's before, during and after the antibiotic use.
So what is it specifically that you like about this one?
Well, I really like the research and development behind it and its focus on controlling inflammation through optimising gut health.
Yes.
And this is specifically tailored for vets to prescribe during those times of stress and antibiotic and steroid use.
Yeah, so that is the time that they do need that extra support, though sometimes, buddy, you just need it all round for his stress.
Well, it can be used long term.
It can. Thanks, Mel.
That's all right, pleasure.
If you'd like to learn more about the EAC Inside Out treatment support, then visit eacanimalcare.com or ask your vet. The Petstock Foundation's Christmas project raised over $800,000 in 2023 for a range of Australian and New Zealand charities that are helping to empower children through the unconditional love and support that animals provide, including Riding for the Disabled in South Australia. Amber, tell us about Riding for the Disabled and who you support out here.
We support riders with a disability from the ages of 3 and up. We offer programs like riding, unmounted and carriage driving across our 9 centres.
And what specific skills do they teach?
Probably the primary benefit is physical, so things like building muscle, stamina, range of movement. We have benefits around psychological, so things like communication, building self-esteem, building confidence, building trust with the horse as well. And lastly, there's educational benefits, things like counting, reading, writing, sequencing. There's definitely an improved quality of life for our participants, and the benefits really vary depending on the participants, so it depends on what their goals are.
And who helps you deliver the program out here?
Primarily our volunteers. We couldn't do what we do without volunteers, and for volunteering in RDA isn't just about being in the arena with the horses helping the participants. There are lots of different roles that our volunteers can do, so things like maintenance, administration, obviously helping with the horses and the participants is a huge draw card, but there are lots of different things, so we really want to encourage people to come and visit our centres and see how they might be able to help.
And how does the Petstock Foundation support your work?
They are incredible. They have helped us to purchase horses for our programs, particularly in regional centres, as well as the ongoing costs of our horses. As you can imagine, horses are quite expensive to own. So it's things like feed, vet care, dental work, farrier, all of the gear that they need, and Petstock has made a huge impact to us with that.
Oh, wonderful. The Christmas project must have been just a nice little icing on the cake.
It was just beautifully timed, and we are so grateful to them for that. And we've got a couple of horses that we are going through their accreditation process that we're hoping that those funds can go towards purchase.
Oh, well, thank you for having us out here today. It's wonderful to see the program in action.
Oh, you're welcome.
Do you reckon I could go for a ride?
I reckon we've got the perfect pony for you.
Awesome. If you'd like to learn more about the Petstock Foundation's campaigns and recipients, visit their website. And if you'd like to learn more about Riding for the Disabled, visit theirs. Good boy, Lou. Don't suppose Canter's in order? As a Petstock Rewards member, if you purchase any participating brand of premium dog or cat food, including Big Dog, they'll give you 15% brand cashback to use the next time you shop for the same brand, even if it's on promotion. T's and C's apply. Visit the website for details. All right, we're going to go see Danny. Yeah. What a good boy. Oops,
Hi, Vindy.
Hello.
Hi, gorgeous Megan.
Many dogs get anxious about being groomed, including my boy Vindy. So to help reduce their stress and your own, Vindy's groomer Danny shares her top tips on how to make it a little easier on everyone. It's important to find a groomer that you trust. Those that are experienced with anxious dogs, like Danny is, can help. Whenever we visit Petstock, she comes out to say hi to give Vindy a pat or a treat to help create a positive association. Danny, what are some of the key things owners need to be aware of when they're grooming an anxious dog?
Yeah, when we're grooming an anxious dog, obviously you want to be quite calm yourself. You yourself want to be quite confident for your puppy.
Are there any particular areas they tend to not like?
Yeah, a lot of dogs don't really like their feet being touched. I like to start at places where they're a little bit more confident so that I can gain their trust and get them feeling a little bit more confident in the situation. For Vindy, for example, that's his eyes. He really loves his eyes being done. So we'll start on his eyes, he'll work his way down the body, and we'll do the feet last.
Yes.
And if he's ever having a situation, he's having a bit more of an anxious time, a little bit harder, we'll maybe give him a break, give him a treat to encourage him to stay calm and stuff like that. So this is where it's really important to have some high quality scissors that are nice and sharp, as well as stainless steel and have a rounded edge to it. That way it's a lot safer for them. And to get them used to this at home, one thing you can do is using the sound of the scissors, just to get them used to the sound of the scissors, and using a metal teaspoon, just rubbing up against their eyes to get them used to the feeling of the metal.
After the break, Danny moves on to the paws and nails, so stick around for more grooming tips and tricks. Before the break, Danny shared some of her top tips to help when grooming an anxious dog, how to keep them calm and how to tackle some of the more sensitive areas. For many dogs, this can include their paws, so it's important to gently touch and hold them while relaxing at home to help with grooming. Nail trimming can be tough for a lot of owners.
Absolutely. You want to get a really nice, good quality brand of nail trimmers and making sure you get ones that are the right size. When working with nails, you really want to look for that little pink nerve that has a lot of blood in it. So sometimes if you trim a little too close to the paw pads, you might hit that little blood vessel. And it can be not painful, but it gives them a little bit of a sting.
Yes, and it bleeds a lot too.
And it bleeds a lot, yes. When working especially with anxious dogs, you do just want to take little bits off at a time.
And what about brushing?
Yeah, brushing is so important for dogs to stop them from matting and knotting, and using the right tool is so important for the job. If they've got some mats and knots, you can use a detangling spray to help brush that area out.
Yes.
For Vindy doesn't really like sprays on him, so instead you can actually spray the detangler onto your hand.
Yes.
So it's not being directly onto the dog. Rub your hands together and put it onto the dog itself as if you're patting them. That way they're still getting the benefits of the detangling spray without the sensation of being sprayed.
Yes. A little grooming hack.
Yeah.
If your dog is scared of the spraying hose, then Danny says try using a watering can or jug to pour over them. Place an adhesive lick mat on the side of the tub with some yogurt or dog-safe peanut butter to help keep them occupied. Dog-specific shampoos that have calming essential oils like the DGG Relax shampoo are also great.
A lot of dogs can be really nervous about blow drying. So one thing I like to do is I like to use a happy hoodie, which is basically like earmuffs for their ears. It's so important to get them used to it. And when you're doing it, just starting off at a distance and working your way closer.
While Danny trims the feet and eyes before the shampoo, the body shave and final touches to the masterpiece are done after the wash and blow dry.
And he's all done.
Oh, thank you, Danny. You look so handsome.
Such a good boy.
Don't forget, if your dog does have a lot of anxiety, you can talk to your vet about short-acting medication just to help them feel a little bit more relaxed and help the groomer too. Hey, handsome boy. You'll find the DGG Relax shampoo and grooming tools at pet specialty stores, including Petstock. Visit the Dog on Gorgeous website for details. Bladder stones in dogs and cats can be really painful and cause swelling, and they're really quite common. Nicole, what should pet parents be looking out for?
Okay, so the classic signs of a bladder stone are an increased frequency in urination, so going to the toilet more often, and then that often strains, so having trouble passing urine. I think another thing pet parents will notice is some blood or a change in odour in the urine. And lastly, they're often licking their genital area.
Right. And how can we tell the difference between bladder stones and other UTIs and infections?
Yeah, and I'd say UTIs would be more common, but it's actually really difficult to be 100% sure whether it's a bladder stone or a UTI. Even as vets, we need to do more tests, so we often do x-rays, ultrasounds.
And what makes some dogs more prone to them than other dogs?
Yeah, so there are some factors with dogs that will make them more prone. We have genetics, so we've got some breeds that are prone to bladder stones. We've got Dalmatians and their urate stones, miniature schnauzers and the struvite stones. And then other dogs will have like an individual variation. So you might have a tucked up vulva, basically anything that will allow an infection in, and then that can form a bladder stone as well. But for me, the biggest factor would have to be diet. So if we think that a lot of the kibble or ultra processed diets, they'll be like 6 to 20% at the most in hydration, compared to a fresh food diet that would be 60 to 80%. So it's asking the pets a lot to make up for that by drinking, and a dilute or an adequately concentrated urine is one of the best mechanisms of defence against bladder stones. And then the other thing with the fresh food diet is I think we have to think about the whole system. So you're putting food through the tummy and then it goes liver, kidneys and out through the bladder. And if you're creating inflammation in the body, a leaky gut with an ultra processed diet, that inflammation can then translate through the body. So a nice fresh food diet for me is the ultimate natural defence against bladder stones.
Okay. What are some of the treatments?
Yeah, so if your pet actually gets a bladder stone, we've got a few options. Small, tiny ones will sometimes just do a pH altering diet or even some supplements. If they get a larger bladder stone though, we need to either surgically remove it, so it's called a cystotomy, we're opening the bladder, or there's even some places that'll do a technique called lithotripsy, which is like a shockwave blasting the bladder stones.
So clearly prevention is so much better than cure. What are some of the things that pet parents should be doing just to keep an early lookout so we can get onto it nice and quick?
For me, information is power. I think as a pet parent, if you can know your pet's standard drinking habits, urinating habits, things like that, that's really beneficial communication. Do they go through 1 bowl of water a day or 2, and are they suddenly drinking 3 or 4? Do they urinate once or twice on the walk and this time they did it 16 times? Those early sort of signs really help us get onto things early and not have a real issue with it.
Okay, it's a bit tough. I walk 4 boy dogs sometimes, so there's 16 P's done in the first 10 minutes, but that's just the boy dogs. Okay, so wonderful fresh food diet, that's what my boys eat. So if you'd like to learn more about the big dog pet foods complete and balanced, raw food diet, because that's very important as well, must be complete and balanced.
100%, and that is really important because that can affect pH, which is everything, so it has to be complete.
Lovely, so visit their website. Thanks, Nicole.
Pleasure.
Always a pleasure. When it comes to storing a pet's food, do you give it as much attention as you might your own food? If your answer is no, then you might not realise the impact this is not only having on the freshness and nutritional values of the product, but also your pet's health. So let's start with kibble, dry food. People seem to have the misconception that dry dog food can't be contaminated with Salmonella, E. coli or other bacteria. This simply isn't true. If dry dog food is not stored properly and it's exposed to things like moisture or air, it can cause the food to become stale and lose its nutritional values. It can also attract pests, insects or worse, rats. Or it could lead to mold growth and bacteria that can cause gastrointestinal issues such as vomiting, diarrhea and abdominal pain, just like any other food. That's why you should always securely close the pack and ideally store it in an airtight container to protect it from moisture, air and pests. Also, keep it in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight and extreme temperatures to prevent it from going rancid. Always check the best before date and use it before it expires. And once you've opened it, always use it within 1 to 3 months, depending on the packaging and the storage conditions. Now, next up, cooked wet dog food. This must also be properly stored to maintain its freshness and safety. Unopened cans or pouches should be stored in a cool, dry place. But once opened, any leftovers should be stored in a clean, airtight container and put in the fridge straight away. Use it within 2 days to prevent any bacteria and spoilage from upsetting your little furry friends' tummies. Be sure to throw away any leftover cooked dog food that has been left out at room temperature for more than 2 hours to again minimise the risk of salmonella and other foodborne illnesses. If you feed your dog a raw food diet, keep it frozen until you're ready to use it. You can thaw it overnight in the fridge, or if you do forget to defrost it, which I do sometimes, you can pop it into a bowl of cool water for about 30 minutes till it's defrosted. Again, avoid thawing it at room temperature. Also, store any unused portions in an airtight container in the fridge and use any thawed raw dog food within 2 to 3 days to ensure its safety and its quality. When handling any pet food, make sure you clean surfaces and sanitize them, or the utensils, containers, because you just don't want it to cross-contaminate with any human food or on any other surfaces that we might be touching. And of course, it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway, always wash your hands after handling any pet food or treats. For more VitaPet tips and to check out their food and treat range, visit the VitaPet website.
Dogs of all ages love to chew. It's important for their mental and physical well-being, and it plays a role in their dental health and hygiene. Choosing the right product for your dog's size, age and chewing style is an important step in ensuring your pooch is safe and gets the most out of their munching session. Plutos Healthy Chews, these ones here, are appropriate for dogs of all ages. They're made with 100% natural ingredients, including casein milk protein, which has antibacterial effects that can help to neutralise plaque-producing bacteria and reduce bad breath. They also contain apple, pea, natural flavours, fat and calcium to provide your dog with a healthy source of proteins, calcium and minerals. But they're low in fat and carbohydrates. Plus, they're lactose-free, so they're easy to digest and hypoallergenic. Catering for small, medium, large and extra-large dogs, the Plutos Chicken Chews use 100% chicken meal. Their puppy and senior chews contain krill and salmon meal, providing omega-3 and antioxidants, helping to enhance a puppy's growth and development, whilst the senior chews cater for their ageing bodies and potential dental decline. There's also a peanut butter chew, which uses real and dog-safe peanut butter. My dogs Monty and Mia just love the small chews. They're perfectly suited to their size and they're easy to digest. And I like that I don't have to worry about little shards breaking off. You can find the Plutos Healthy Chews at your local Petstock store or their website. How you going? Yeah, it's going to be a while yet. Okay.
Would you like to win a Pawsome prize pack worth over $2,500? One lucky person will win a year's supply of Big Dog pet foods, Antinol Plus, NextGuard Spectra monthly chews, plus a $250 Petstock gift voucher, $500 worth of DGG grooming and apparel, $300 worth of VitaPet treats, and a signed copy of Eat, Play, Love Your Dog. Plus, there's 5 consolation prizes up for grabs too. To enter, sign up to our e-news and name one of the charities featured this series. So visit poochesatplay.com. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hey, Vindy, come say goodbye. Good boy. Oh, look at your dirty feet. Can we have lots of DGG shampoo? Don't forget to head to our website for plenty more tips and advice. And boys, let's get you home for a shampoo. Hey, dogs, gotta love them.